All right, welcome back everyone to the deep dive. We're ready to jump into another fascinating topic. This one, this one's a bit heavier than usual.
Yeah, this one is a little bit sensitive for sure.
Yeah, so today we're talking about domestic violence. You guys asked us to dive into this one, so buckle up, I guess, and remember to, take care of yourselves.
Please do. This is definitely a conversation that requires both awareness and sensitivity as we go through this.
So looking at all the stuff you sent me, looks like you've been doing some research, huh? You're probably already familiar with the basics. But I gotta say, what I find interesting, and maybe even a little scary, is how quiet domestic violence can be sometimes.
You're absolutely right. It's not just about physical abuse, though obviously that is a major part of it. But it's a lot more than that. It's about, I guess it's about power and control. One person trying to control another,
Right. Like, sometimes it's so subtle that people might not even realize what's happening. I saw you had an article in there about financial abuse. That's not something that jumps to mind right away, is it?
Right. That's a perfect example. It could be, like controlling all the finances or like telling their partner how every dollar has to be spent or even, trying to sabotage their partner's career. It's really about limiting options and making the victim dependent on the abuser.
It's just so sneaky. And then there's emotional abuse, which can be even harder to really define.
Oh, yeah, for sure. It's that constant criticism, putting them down all the time, gaslighting, all these tactics that slowly chip away at a person's self-worth, makes them more vulnerable to that control.
Yeah. And I think, sometimes people think that if someone's in an abusive relationship, there must be a reason, like maybe they're provoking it or something.
And that's just so wrong. It's never the victim's fault. No one deserves to be abused, no matter what. One thing that really jumped out at me from your research is how often abusers isolate their victims. They cut them off from their friends and family.
Wow. Yeah. I'm seeing that a lot in these articles too. Creating that dependency.
Yeah.
It makes it that much harder to leave. There's even a study here that says domestic violence actually increases when the economy is bad.
That's right. Stressors like losing a job or financial problems can definitely make tensions in a relationship worse. But it's so important to remember that those factors don't excuse the abuse.
Exactly. Never an excuse. So what about the abuser? Is there like a pattern or something that makes someone abusive?
Well, that's a really complex question, but your research definitely points to some common themes. A lot of times, abusers saw abuse when they were kids. Sometimes they struggle with mental health issues, or they have really rigid ideas about gender roles.
It really makes you think about how these patterns, repeat themselves. It's like a cycle that keeps going.
Yeah, you're right. But the good news is, as much as cycles can repeat, they can also be broken.
Absolutely. And that brings us to something really important for anyone out there who might be going through this themselves, or maybe they see it happening to someone they know. You are not alone. Okay.
Yeah, there's help out there. There are hotlines, shelters, places that can provide support and guidance.
And remember, reaching out for help is a really strong thing to do. It's not a sign of weakness. It's the first step to a safer and healthier life.
As we wrap this up, I want to leave everyone with something to think about. How can we as a society start to address the root causes of domestic violence? How do we change those deep-seated attitudes and beliefs that let this kind of abuse happen? It's a tough question, but it's one we really need to keep asking ourselves.